Hi everybody, I am so excited about today's video because I am finally teaching you to make these unpaper towels. This is the new pattern that I've picked for my unpaper towels, and I'm going to show you how to make them from start to finish, and I can't wait for you to see the process. Hi, I'm Stacey Menton from singingmamashomestead.com, where we provide information for singers and professional voice users about vocal wellness on a path to whole person wellness. Today is a little bit more, again, about the whole person wellness. I love sewing because it gives me a creative outlet. It gives me the ability to create things that would probably cost me a lot more to buy. And higher quality at least, even though it might cost me less to buy like some little chamois and call those my unpaper towels. I love these unpaper towels that I'm about to make, and they worked really well for me for 3 years, but they're starting to get really old and they're ready to go to rag status. So I figured this was the perfect opportunity to show you how I make these. So this is my fabric. This is the flannel that I picked out for my unpaper towels, and I'm just going to iron this so that everything's nice and flat and it lays really nicely when I go to sew. I'm getting ready to cut, and it's always good to measure twice before you cut. So essentially what I've decided I'm going to have is I'm going to have towels that measure, initially, the initial fabric's going to measure 10 inches by 5 inches. So I have this set up here. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches straight across here. And then I'm just going to cut straight across here and make another 5 inches. And then we'll go from there and make the 10 inches. So this is my handy dandy rotary cutter that I just love. And now I'm holding this here so that I've got it measured up on both sides. I just want to make sure that I really got it all off there. With the others, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is get my bobbin all thread. that the stitches are coming together. So to do that, I'm just gonna pull this like that. So create one stitch, and I usually pull a little bit on this, and I usually use my scissors to pull the other one out. So now we have 2 threads. We have this one that's coming up from the bottom, and we have this one that's from the top. And they're gonna lock together to make the stitch. All right. So we have our 2 fabrics here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this fabric and lie it down. And then I'm gonna make sure that this side of the fabric is lying face down on top of that toweling. Now, so this is what it looks like this. Now I'm just gonna take a couple of pins. This part is optional. I don't know that I'll do it on every single towel, because it is kind of time consuming, but especially if you're new to sewing, I'd recommend, I'd recommend making sure that you get at least a pin in each side, especially the side that you're not gonna, let's say I'm not gonna go up that side. So I'm gonna leave this side completely open. So I'm just gonna keep the pin in it. I'm probably gonna take the seam up to somewhere around here and maybe even in a little bit. But what I'm gonna do now my machine has lines on it. You can see this big one. This is the 5/8 line. I am probably going to try to do closer to like a 1/2 inch or less. I usually tend to try to keep it as close to the edge as possible. Now, this fabric that's underneath this one is slightly shorter. So I am going to make sure that I'm staying on this fabric, because I can always trim around it, but I can't, if it's not sewn together, it doesn't work. So let's actually start so that I can get a little bit. We'll go right about here. So the presser foot is going to be kind of my guide to keep the stitch straight. Now I'm going to go forward a little bit. It's about 3 stitches. And I'm going to go backwards again just to lock that stitch in. And then I'm going to come forward again up to about here. Do one more. And now I'm going to lift my presser foot, and I kept the needle in. And I'm just going to come straight down this side now, trying to keep a gauge of where my fabric actually is. And I'm just going to go backwards again. Voila. So we just pull that out, snip those off. Now I tend to like to snip everything off once I'm here, just because it makes my life just a little easier. Take that pin out and just catch all the little strings so that they're off, because I don't like to think that it's messy inside my project. That is just me. It's probably not the most needed thing to do. Now that it's sewn, you can see that I still had a decent amount of extra fabric on these ends. So what I'm gonna do is just take out my fabric scissors, and I'm gonna cut those off so that it turns easier. For this project, it really wasn't important that everything be exact with size, which is part of why I like this project, especially for beginners, because it doesn't really matter are perfect. Now that this is a little more even, I'm going to find that open side, and I'm just going to turn these. Hole, but that's okay, because what's going to happen is you're going to fold them in, fold those sides in. Now I'm going to pin that there for right now. So that those folds are there. But what we're going to do now is take this lovely little towel that we have, and we're gonna iron it. Okay, so now we're going to iron this. Make sure that these are kind of tucked in nicely, because all that's gonna happen with these is a top stitch that happens over them. Okay, so now we have our towel, and we're gonna do the top stitching. So what you're gonna do is take from the corner, you're gonna go just behind the corner. Now this time I'm gonna use the side edge of this as my guide. I'm gonna try to stay completely true to that. So I'm gonna put my foot down. So we're gonna go backwards a little bit, like 2, maybe 3 stitches. And then we're gonna come forward, and we're just gonna try to stay backwards again to really lock in the stitch. All right, pull straight out, and now we're just going to cut our threads. Okay, and there you have it. We have a nice unpaper towel. All right, so that about does it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching me make my unpaper towel. This is the first of probably about 55 more. Thank you for watching today. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. That actually really does help me. And if you want to get information about all the stuff I did in this video, you can also check the blog post, which I'll link in the description below. All right, my name's Stacey Menton from SingingMamasHomestead.com, and I wish you success on your wellness journey.